Hey guys, Mr. Bernard here. So today is assignment number 26, so let's get going with it. Question number 1, we got 2x squared plus x minus 3. So for this one, we want to use the earmuff method or the headphone method. So we're going to multiply together the negative 3 and the 2, so we'll get negative 6. What two factors of negative 6 add up to positive 1? So in this case, we're going to have negative 2 and positive 3. So let's rewrite now. With our new numbers. So we got 2x squared minus 2x plus 3x minus 3. So now we're going to do some factor by grouping. And let's draw a line down the middle. So on the left-hand side, we could take out a 2x, and we'll be left with x minus 1. And on the right-hand side, we could take out a 3. And we'll be left with x minus 1 there as well, so these match, and we'll have 2x plus 3 times x minus 1 as our answer. Question number 2, same thing. So let's multiply these together. We're going to get 20. What two factors of 20 add up to negative 12? So that's going to be negative 10 and negative 2. So when it comes to rewriting our expression, now I could use the negative 10 here coming up first, but it'll be a little bit easier if I use the negative 2. And so now again, we're just going to factor by grouping. We could take a 2x out of this, and so we'll be left with 2x minus 1. So we want to get that now on the other side, so I'll take out a negative 5, and we'll be left with 2x minus 1 once again. So we'll have 2x minus 5 times 2x minus 1 as our answer. Question number 3, same method again. Multiply them together, we're going to get negative 15. What two terms multiply together to negative 15 and add up to positive 2. In this case, it's going to be negative 3 and positive 5. So we'll have 3x squared minus 3x plus 5x minus 5. Draw our line. We could take out a 3x from this, and we'll be left with x minus 1. And we could pull out a 5 on this side, and we'll be left with x minus 1 here as well. So we'll have 3x plus 5 times x minus 1 as our final answer for this one. And so now we're going to move over to these boxes. So for these, we just want to factor out the GCF. So let's look at our first example, and we'll do these. Let's see how blue looks. Blue is good, so we'll use that. So we have 20 and 24. So our greatest common factor between those two is going to be 4. And now we have an x squared and an x. So we can only take out x from this. This has a y, the negative 24xy, and the 20x squared does not have a y attached to it. So our GCF for this one is just going to be 4x. Next one, we got a little bit more going on. So in this case, we have 16, negative 24, and 40. Greatest that we could take out of this is going to be 8. And so now we got to look at our variables attached to everything. So we have an x here. We do not have it attached to the other one, so we cannot include it. We have a y squared here, y squared here, and y squared here, so we could put that there. And we only have a z on the middle term, so that's it for that one. And so our GCF here is going to be 8y squared. And now we're going to be working with perfect squares, so let's use green for this one. X squared minus 4. We're going to have x plus 2 and x minus 2 for this one. And so now our next one's going to be a little bit more involved. So let's set up our parentheses first. So the square root that we have here is going to be 3x, and we can put that in both of these. And now we're going to need to have an addition sign and a subtraction sign. And the square root of our second term is going to be 4y. So we'll include that there. So we have 3x plus 4y, 3x minus 4y. And now our next one, just standard trinomial factoring. So what two factors of our c term, in this case it's going to be -6, add up to -1. And let's use red for this. So factors of -6 that add up to -1, we're going to have -3. So we're going to have y minus 3 times y plus 2. And our next one, what two factors of 8 add up to 6? That's going to be x plus 2 times x plus 4. And so we're good with that one. Now our next one is similar to the do now. We can use our earphone method for this one. So we multiply these together, we're going to get -2. So what two factors of -2 add up to -1? In this case, it's going to be -2 and +1. So we'll have 2x squared minus 2x minus x minus 1. Draw our little line down the middle. We can pull out 2x from this, and so we'll have x minus 1. And we could take out this should be positive x, sorry. We could take out a 1 from here, so we'll have plus 1, and this will be x minus 1 as well. So we're left with 2x plus 1 times x minus 1. And now we have our practice problems. We've got 10 of these. So let's first factor out in question 1 the b that we have. So let's pull that out because both terms have it. So we have y squared minus 4. This looks a lot more manageable now. So we're going to keep that b still. We'll have y plus 2 times y minus 2. Let me fix that one. And so our factors here are going to be we're going to have a -12 and a +6. So we'll subtract 12x plus 6x minus 24. And now we're just going to split down the middle. We could take out a 3x from here. We'll be left with x minus 4. We could take out a 6 from here, +6. And we'll be left with x minus 4 as well. So we'll have 3x plus 6 times x minus 4. Question 3 is going to be a difference of two perfect squares. So we'll be left with x squared plus 4, x squared minus 4. But we're not done yet because x squared minus 4 can also be broken down further. So let's bring down the x squared plus 4 first. Sorry, this should say x plus 2 times x minus 2. And so now we're good on that one. And the reason why we can't factor out this one over here more is because it's not the difference of two perfect squares. It's the sum of two perfect squares. Next question. So it looks like we have a y in all of these that we could take out first. So let's just divide all those terms by y. So we'll have a squared plus 10a plus 25. This looks a lot more manageable now. So what two factors of 25 add up to 10? So in that case, it's going to be 5 for both of them. So we'll have y times a plus 5 times a plus 5. Another answer that you could write is y times a plus 5 squared. And these are equivalent statements, so either one is acceptable. Next question we're going to have. So question 5 is a little bit more involved. So we have z to the 6th minus z squared. So first we could pull out a GCF of z squared, and we'll be left with z to the 4th power minus 1. We could break this down further, so we have our z squared still, and now we'll have z squared plus 1 times z squared minus 1. Still can break this down further, and we'll have z squared plus 1, and now we'll have just z plus 1 times z minus 1. And so that's question 5. Question 6, we multiply our two 4's together. We're going to get negative 16. What two factors of negative 16 add up to negative 6? That's going to be negative 8 and positive 2. So we'll have 4x squared minus 8x plus 2x minus 4. Draw our line. So here we could take out a 4x. We'll be left with x minus 2. And we could take out a 2 here. And x minus 2 here as well. So we got 4x plus 2 times x minus 2. Question 7, we're going to start off, we have d cubed, so let's get rid of that first. Let's divide all three of these terms by d because they all have them in it. So we'll have d squared minus 8d plus 16. This is a lot more manageable now. So we'll have d, and what two factors of 16 add up to negative 8? We're going to have d minus 4 times d minus 4. And equivalently, you could say d and then d minus 4 squared. That square is going to be on the outside of it. Next, we have x to the 4th power plus x squared minus 2. So we want to know what two factors of negative 2 are going to add up to 1. So in this case, it's just going to be negative 1 and positive 2. But just also keep in mind, because we have x to the 4th, we're going to have x squared plus 2 and x squared minus 1. This x squared plus 2 is good. Can't do anything with it. So we'll rewrite it down here, but we could still factor a little bit further, and we'll have x plus 1 times x minus 1. And now we're good on this one. Question number 9. We multiply together our 16 and 4. And so for that, we're going to get 64. What two factors of 64 add up to negative 8? That's going to be negative 8 times negative 8. So we'll have 16x squared minus 8x minus 8x plus 4. For this one, we could pull out a 8x, and we'll be left with 2x minus 1. Over here, we could take out a positive. Actually, we'll take out negative 4. And so now we'll have 2x minus 1 here as well. And so we have 8x minus 4 times 2x minus 1 as our final answer. And last but not least, question number 10. We have an a cubed, a squared, and a. Let's divide all these by a. So we'll have 10a squared plus 20a plus 10. Still not sure what to do with this. We multiply our two 10s together, so we'll have 100. What two terms of 100 add up to 20? So this is going to be 10 and 10. So we'll have, bring our a down still, and we're going to have 10a squared plus 10a plus 10a plus 10. And I'm just going to finish writing it down on this next little sheet. So we bring our a down again. And I'm just going to rewrite. So between these two, we could take out the 10a, and we'll be left with a plus 1. And we could take out a 10 here, and we'll be left with, whoops. We could take out the 10 here, and we'll be left with a plus 1 again. So we're going to have a times 10a plus 10 times a plus 1, but we could change this one as well. So we'll have 10a times a plus 1 times a plus 1, or we could just say 10a a plus 1 squared. That squared is on the outside. And so yeah, that's everything. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. Otherwise, have a great day.